Nice. We almost won't have that intro here coming up soon. All right. How is everybody doing on this Wednesday? I'm here joined with Kaz and Volume Bets, which is kind of becoming a regular thing, which I enjoy. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. I need a Ohtani home run later for a little bet that I put in, so I'll be paying attention to that game. What do you got going on, Volume?
Yeah, I just have a little bit of Dodgers later. The only bet I did today was Dodgers and parlayed with the Reds to not score in the first inning earlier for Skeens. So just right in the one, but light day.
How did I didn't watch that Pirates game. How did Skeens do? I know he got smacked around last start, but to be honest, like I don't know if you watched that. I'm feeling like you did watch that game, so I think you were at Skeens last time.
Yeah. I had some Mets the first time, but he just had a bad time that opening day, but today he was fine. He gave up 1 through 5. Nothing really. It was like a single and a double, or it was a De La Cruz single, then a double that brought him home, and those were like the only hits he gave up all day, and he was fine.
Nice. Pirates lineup, not that it looks great, but when I checked it the other day, I was surprised at some of the names they got. It seemed like for the first time in a while, they actually went out and tried to sign some guys, which I'm just not used to seeing from them.
It's certainly better than last year's. It's probably not going to be very good still, but definitely better than it was last year.
All right, nice. I guess while we're on it, anyone else have anything else going during the day? For MLB, Kaz, Ohtani is plus 200 to hit a home run, so you're looking in pretty good shape.
Yeah, good. Let's go. I just put in a little the new thing on Fanatics, the little team bet thing. So I tried home runs today because why not? It's a D-gen thing to pick. So it's Seager, Weiler Abreu, George Springer, Alonso, Ohtani, and JT Realmuto to hit home runs. I think you picked. Did you have Seager and Realmuto to hit home runs? TV?
No, I had Realmuto.
Realmuto. Okay. I think I threw in. Somebody was playing. Oh, I think Seager. I think there was the wind was blowing out today. That's why I picked Seager and Alonso at Camden Yards, and I think it was warm out too. So three of those guys have hit home runs so far. So if Ohtani hits a home run tonight, that's plus 1,400 on a mixed bag. I mean, I don't think the odds are probably as true as if I had guessed those guys exactly, but you're going to expect a little buffer there because you they're implying you to probably miss a couple.
So, Seager did be good yesterday. I picked him to have a home run yesterday. He got one late. Hopefully, keeps them rolling.
He started pretty solid so far. This is pretty much how my day went. So, follow up from last time we were on, I was going to bet against Colorado, which I like to do. Last year, it just didn't work for me either. They won their first. Did they win their first 2 games that I bet on them this year? Yeah. This was today. It took Toronto. Everything was, leading the entire game, going well. And then one position liquidated. I thought we might be okay because I kind of tried to cover it with a 2x position. Nope, they outright lost. A solid 4 hours of watching a game to lose money. So that's how we're looking. Cool. While we're here, so we announced today with Levr that we decided to pay out. We kind of knew we were going to be doing this the whole time, but didn't really want to push on it. Paid out monthly on the leaderboards. I believe it was about, it was all in Mon. I believe the final total was around $2,500. So what we paid out was top 10 by P&L, which we've actually got some guys who've done pretty well recently. I did not make the P&L list, and then we paid out top 10 on the volume side of things. This will be a little different than what we paid out just because people were betting today. We paid out based off of last month only. Whoops. I did make that list, which is fun. But yes, so those payments, if you're on there, they're going out. They should be going out tonight. I am going to be giving away the Mon that I won from the volume. It's on my Twitter, so if you want to go there, my X handle, I think, is under my face. And all you have to do is sign up. You don't have to bet anything. Just show that you signed up, and you'll be entered to win that. I think it only comes out to, well, not only, I mean, it's significant, like $100, but going to give that away to somebody. On that note, we will be doing that every month. We'll update this leaderboard area, so it just shows the current month, so you know how you're standing. And we'll just keep paying out Mon until we run out of Mon to pay out. While we're in here, March Madness, this is still going on. There's going to be a total of 3 games left. So this, I believe, Saturday, we have the 2 games for the last 4 teams right now. And then on Monday, we will have that final match. Paying out prizes on that too. This is based off of strictly P&L. If you are up here on this board and you haven't made 5 bets yet, you want to make sure that you get 5 bets made. For example, this guy in second, because you do need to have 5 bets in on college basketball in order to qualify for that. This is strictly P&L, so like it's pretty top heavy right now. If you come in and make a couple bets, solid chance you'll be in the top, what is it, 25? Yeah, top 25 that pays out. So worth still looking at. I know we went over college on Monday. We got picks from both of you. Did you guys, we definitely don't need to go in as depth as we did last time, but is there anything you guys just kind of wanted to touch on, Kaz? I know you had some notes if you wanted to give some filler here.
Yeah, because I didn't really go over anything. I just kind of said who I thought, but I was going to mention that I was going to be a little bit more ready to go this time, so I am. Yeah, I'll go a little bit deeper here. Illinois, UConn. At least I still like Illinois over UConn. Digging into this a little bit further, the Fighting Illini are the number 1 ranked offense, and the KenPom, they're the number 20 ranked defense. Offensively, they have multiple guys that can hurt you. Defensively, they can do everything really well, but one thing, and that's create turnovers. But I also suspect that's why they're number 1 in the country in defensive free throw attempts to field goal attempts. And that's going to possibly play a big role in this game. What I mean by that is that I don't think they take a lot of chances at trying to like reach and get a steal. I think they just try to play people straight up, which is amazing because they're still the number 1 defense in the country while doing that. UConn is a very experienced team with a great head coach. I mean, they're coming off that huge win with 0.3 seconds left, I think. The number 28 in the KenPom in offense, number 9 in defense, so they're also very good both ends of the floor. What hurts them is that they rank poorly in getting to the free throw line, and then they also rank poorly in making free throws. What I mean by that is they rank 306 in getting to the free throw line, and they're 210th in free throw percentage. I think this game's going to be close, and I think that's going to kill them towards the end. That's my thoughts on that. I like Illinois more than I like the difference in the next game, which is the Arizona-Michigan game. Arizona's KenPom offensive rank is 4th, and their defensive rank is 2nd. And Michigan's defensive rank is 1st, and their offensive rank is 5th. So, I mean, they're so close on both ends of the floor. I really couldn't find an edge in the game going through a lot of the numbers. I think the scenario, I'll give a scenario that I think for each team would work into their benefit. if Michigan can get up by double digits late enough that Arizona has to volume shoot threes, I don't like Arizona's chances of coming back. If anybody watched that Houston game when they got behind Illinois, they looked very like uncomfortable and like because they had to try to shoot threes to get back into the game, and they just didn't look like themselves. They did like full court press, and I think those things kind of got them back in. But offensively, they looked like out of sorts, trying to like figure out, oh, now we got to shoot threes. And the reason I say that is Arizona just doesn't have volume shooting threes. They're a team that loves to go to the rack. They're 7th in the country in free throw attempts to field goal attempts. But there's only 365 teams in college basketball, Division I. They're 363rd in three-point attempts to field goal attempts. That's how low amount that they shoot from three. They don't statistically shoot the three poorly. They actually shoot the three at almost the same percentage as Michigan, but they just don't shoot it as much. So I think if Michigan can get up by double digits late and Arizona's got to depend on changing their offense to shooting threes, I just don't think it plays into how their style is, and it probably won't work out for them. And then on the other hand, talking about how Arizona shoots so many free throws, if Arizona can get Michigan into foul trouble in this game, that could hurt Michigan because Michigan, I don't think, can rotate in as many guys that are as good as the rotation of Arizona. I think Arizona's got more depth down the line, and they can keep coming at you. So if Michigan gets a couple guys in foul trouble, that could hurt them as far as matchups on the court. That's the only real thing I could find between the two teams. If I'm picking a winner, I'm going to go with Arizona, which I've said at the beginning. I wanted Duke and Michigan, but I feel like watching the tournament, Arizona's just passing the eye test for me, and they kind of like got this swagger about them, like they're going to try to win the national title. And there's been a lot of talk behind them being like, no team has won the national title on the western part of the United States in like 25 years or something crazy like that. And I think they're trying to like take that on as we're going to be the team to do it. I expect this one to go down to literally the very end. This could come down to a last shot. It could be a miss, could be a free throw, could be a missed free throw. I expect that game to go all the way down to the end. So I like Illinois and Arizona.
If you were to take one on leverage here on Saturday, which one would it be?
I would feel more comfortable taking Illinois.
Yeah, it's
on leverage.
Feeling like
I don't think they're a crazy favorite. I know they are the favorite, but they're not crazy. What's the other game look like? The other game I just think is going to be so tight at the end that you might get leveraged out. But it depends. Like I said, if Arizona's got to shoot threes to come back, I think they might be in trouble. A lot like Houston was against Illinois. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I would agree. I picked Michigan earlier. I still like Michigan, just because, again, I think their regular base offense has a higher ceiling. I think Arizona does a lot inside, has to do a lot inside, and Michigan have the bodies, the size that can kind of deter that stuff. So I think just naturally Arizona probably has to take more threes. And again, this isn't a thing with Arizona where they're like bad from three, like Florida are. Florida don't take threes and are bad from three, which was why we spoke about them going out as the earliest one. But Arizona aren't horrific from three or bad from three. They just don't take a lot because they're normally so dominant inside and they're so filled with bodies. So I just think naturally they're going to have to take a little bit or a few more threes, just the way Michigan are going to defend. And Arizona don't have a guy who's going to pull Mara out of the paint. So he's going to be in there probably deterring a lot of shots and things like that. So I still like Michigan. I agree. If Arizona get behind, it's tough for them to come back in this scenario. But I also don't. I don't particularly think they'll get to a point necessarily where they're that far behind unless Michigan continue to shoot this well from three.
Nice.
I will say of the other game as well, Illinois UConn. I think that has like a potential to be like genuinely really low scoring. Like UConn have a little bit of size in the middle, and UConn and Illinois are both outside. Like they're like 330th or whatever if you can get every team in there in average possession length, just how long each possession offensively takes. And Illinois have a ton of size who can keep UConn from one, moving quickly if they want to, and two, getting open shots on the perimeter, which UConn will want to do. If this game finished like similar to like the UConn Butler title game we got like a decade ago, it was like 53-42. I don't expect it to be that crazy low, but that Arizona or that Illinois Iowa game was like 55-55 or whatever with like 5 minutes left. Like I could see something genuinely like in the 60 to 50 range here. Like I can see like some really low all totals here.
Nice, and appreciate kind of like game scenarios there as well. Not that we have live betting yet, but if you are live betting the game, kind of get the feel in which direction it might be going. All right, I'm going to shift gears here. We'll head over to NBA. There's some games on the board tonight worth looking at. A few with this first game, pretty important for playoff seedings between these two teams. We have the Hawks traveling to Orlando as native 131 favorites. Magic here on a back-to-back. This game's really important on their end for the seedings. So important for the Hawks as well. Hawks have been playing well recently. Took down Boston, I believe it was on Monday. So they've had a pretty easy schedule going into that game, but they showed maybe it wasn't all about the schedule. The Magic, it's kind of been going the opposite way outside of their game last night against Phoenix. They've been getting kind of buried everywhere defensively. Are you guys interested here at all? I feel like it should have kind of playoff atmosphere. I typically stay a little away from those games, but curious if you guys have a side on this.
I have a side on the Hawks Orlando game. The Hawks have beat Orlando all 3 times they played this year. Orlando just cannot defend them defensively. It's funny, before we went live, Kurt and I were talking about this game. Orlando just looks so miserable and so bad right now. I have some notes here. They're 3-7 in their last 10. This is the back end of a back-to-back also for them. The Hawks are 8-2. They just beat the Celtics, I think, on Monday when they were at home. They've been playing really good. Atlanta does a pretty good job at protecting the rim, which kind of is not a good matchup for Orlando anyway. I also want to say that I think the Hawks, they're both in the same division. The Hawks are like 9-7 in the division, but are 3-0 against Orlando. So they have like a losing record against everybody else in the division, except for Orlando. I expect them to win this game. Orlando just does not look. I think they've lost every game to the Hawks by almost 10 points this season. So, yeah, I like the Hawks a lot.
I'm with you there. One of those were pretty recent too. So it's not like we're looking. Let me see. March.
Yeah, they played like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, March 16th. So it's like similar rosters, well, the same rosters. Okay. Kurt, did you have a strong take on that? We can just move on if not.
I didn't bet it, but I don't know how people are like looking at the Magic and putting real money on the Magic unless you have like a pretty big edge in your model. Like they genuinely look dead on the court. They don't like each other. They definitely don't like the coach. I mean, they've been pretty outwardly against the coach like all year long, and he's still there. They still blaming him after losses. They come on the court running like out of timeouts, like visibly upset. They haven't beaten it. I mean, they beat the Suns last night, last night, and then their only win in their last 8 was at home to the Kings. Just you got the Atlanta game that started it, 12-point loss. Lost to the Thunder, got blown out by the Hornets. Lost at home to the Lakers. Lost at home to that Indiana team that's losing games on purpose. And I don't know how people are betting them. It's also this matchup in particular is also just bad for Banchero. They know how to defend him. They have length. They keep him away from the rim, and he goes back to taking all those really inefficient jump shots he likes to take for some reason in this particular matchup. So I can't fault you for liking the Hawks for sure.
Yeah, and to add to that, with you just like with how tired they seem, again, it's on a back-to-back as well. All right. I have some, obviously a little more tilted this next game. Boston at Miami. Boston favorites here at negative 181, as I kind of feel they should be. This game, it's important to both of them. Boston wants to keep that 2 seed, so they need to keep picking up wins. Miami needs, well, they don't need to, but they would like to get out of those play-in games to get in that out of that 6-10 range. Boston, they're not really scoring in the paint all that much. Miami, I feel like they've defended in the paint well all year, so I don't see Celtics offense really getting hurt here. Whereas on the other side, Heat are first in transition offense, and that's kind of where Boston has been not dominant, but pretty solid all year. They've also been super dominant on the boards recently. Tatum and Brown will be playing in this game. If I was going to take an NBA game tonight, which I don't know if I'm going to on leverage, it'd probably be the Celtics here. I don't think a slow start would even hurt them too much with kind of how their offense can just explode at times. What about you guys?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Miami are not like waiting the season out almost, but like they know who they are over there, and Spoelstra knows who they are, and this is just kind of who they're going to be going forward. They don't look like they're going to do a whole lot of changing around and stuff, and it's just a super awkward matchup, Boston in particular. They play good perimeter defense. They have the bodies that can bang a little bit in the middle, and they're just going to take their threes, which Miami like to lit up. And I don't know if is someone like Harrow going to get his shots off cleanly tonight? Probably not with Derek White floating around. It's just an awkward kind of matchup, and a team that doesn't have, while they're trying to win and trying to move themselves forward, and they're stuck in that, funky range that everybody seems to be stuck in the play-in. I think Spoelstra knows, and I think that came out with that quote with Adebayo the other day, trying to say, hey, I want to play. I'm trying to get out of the play-in and stuff. And if you have to go tell your coach that, the coach thinks that we want to be healthy. We're going to be in the play-in. We'll figure it out. I don't expect a ton of heavy push from Miami from here to the end of the year.
Kaz, our residential Boston fan, you want to hop on him here?
Yeah, the Celtics are probably going to wax them tonight. What's interesting is, Kurt makes a good point. Like, Adebayo makes that comment. They beat the 76ers, who I think are also in that like projected possible play-in game area. But they lost the night or a couple nights before to a team that's actively trying to lose in the Indiana Pacers. So it's like, what are you going to get out of the Suns team? The Celtics, I think, are 4.5 up on the Knicks. So I'm sure they're just trying to get enough wins in here to clinch that 2 seed. I don't think they're going to catch the Pistons. So I think they're just going to try to play out, get the 2 seed, know that they have as much home court advantage as they can get, and then they'll probably try to rest some guys for the playoffs. I mean, I know that they're not playing certain guys on back-to-backs, but I think they'd really like to have that locked up. So I think the goal is to probably try to get that done sooner rather than later. So this is a good spot for them.
Yeah, so I definitely think they want it 2.5 up on the Knicks right now. Not that I think the Knicks are going to cover that, with the Knicks just being the Knicks when they can't afford to be the Knicks. All right, so I mean, the other games in the slate, I already skipped over one of them. Just stop me if you guys are interested. Philadelphia at Washington, no interest there. That's probably like a 16-point spread around there. I feel like every game with Washington is a 14 to 16-point spread. I'm on my shit. 14.5 points. Knicks, speaking of the Knicks, at Memphis, that is a 14.5-point spread. Another team that's actively tanking in Memphis. And these games, I know it sounds amusing, but like these games are just as important for these tanking teams as they are for these teams trying to get out of the play-in, because they want to lose.
Can I say something on this game? I actually have
definitely.
just a quick comment on this one in particular. The Knicks and Cavs are not going to catch they're not going to catch Boston. So it's just going to be those two going at 3 and 4. 4th seed path is actually significantly better. You miss Boston, and which is probably the best team. You're going to get Detroit in the second round, and you're probably going to get the easier round of 4 or 5 there, because you're probably going to get Toronto. And while this Memphis team isn't good or anything, they're at least putting in effort on the day. And while they're at home, they've been putting in effort. And, you know, they come up against teams that are good and trying to play through, and they can't hang. But they have a win over Chicago at home. They have a tight loss to Houston at home. They have a tight loss to Boston. They beat Denver recently, all at home. And the Knicks are going to my opinion is the Knicks are going to slow their way into the playoffs, because that they're not catching 2, and that 4 slot is better. So if there is a spot that you can catch the Knicks weirdly lacking and you want to take a genuine shot, tonight would be the night. They don't have any more back-to-backs. Mitch Robinson's not going to play tonight. Brunson popped up on the injury report as questionable, and he's not been playing particularly well lately. If the Knicks are going to completely let a game go for the rest of the year, it's this one tonight. So if you're getting some weird number like 8 or 9 to 1 on Memphis straight up, I don't actually hate that. But this will probably be the only spot the rest of the year where you can probably find that with the Knicks, because of just how their schedule plays out. They have one more back-to-back, but it's like their last game of the season, where everybody's probably just not playing their guys. But if you're going to get some funky rest out of like a Brunson, or if you're going to, get some heavy push from a home team that plays well at home in a really heavy number, it would be today.
The game against the Celtics here doesn't worry you that they, might try to win tonight, might try to win against the Bulls, and kind of at that point you're like, well, we have a game with the Celtics left. You're not worried about that potentially I mean, I completely get where you're coming from. I just feel like if that's the mindset, they could play it out until the Celtics. They have 2 games after that.
You talking about the Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks, as in terms of not catching.
Oh, in terms of not catching Boston, yeah, I completely get that. I would be more implied to believe that if they had been playing well, like if they were making a genuine push. But this team's gone on the road. This is their 4th game of the road trip. They've gotten pretty much blown out in all the other ones. I think they need a heavy reset. I think they know they need a heavy reset. Again, Brunson's not been playing well. Pop's on the injury report tonight. I just think they're more likely to let it cruise in and drift a little bit more toward the 4 than they are to make a pretty genuine push at the 2.
So now
yeah, you're right.
You've got me interested in possibly some props here. Like getting guys out of the game early. Like Cat, I would love to take unders on Cat. I just don't know. I mean, he could get his over in a half versus Memphis, right?
Yeah, he's gonna play. The problem with the Cat under stuff is he's gonna play. No Mitch tonight. Like he's gonna get his stuff. The problem with Cat is just I don't know. There's a genuine disconnect there with Cat. There's that clip. I don't know if anybody saw it here. It's that clip where he made a really great play the other day. It was just like pushing teammates off and stuff. Just like he's very disconnected from this group for whatever reason, and so he's very up and down just night to night. Like nights he'll put up 20 and 15, and nights he'll put up like 11 and 9, and he's all over the place. But he's gonna get his minutes tonight at least.
If you were to pick a guy on this team that, assuming like your thought process here, which again, that's a scenario that has to play out. Who's the guy on the starting roster? Is like Josh Hart. I feel like he's super important to them.
Yeah, it would be something rebound related. Memphis are going to run small. They've been running small for about a month now, as some of their injury quote unquote stuff piles up and some of their trade stuff happens. So if they're going to run small and shoot threes, maybe some of the wing rebounds like an OG or a McHale or a Josh Hart, as you were speaking about, stuff like that would probably be where I look.
Oh, I'm looking at the other side. I'm looking for guys to get out of the game early.
Oh, you want some? Yeah, if you want some under stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So probably some of the guard play under, guard points under, because those will be the only guys who will be matched up or something like that. Just McBride had a really bad day the other day after coming back from his injury. He's not going to have any super heavy advantages here. Maybe some of his unders or something like that.
Yeah, let's take a look at it after. All right, cool. Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls. I don't have. Indiana's just a team that is okay with losing, but they're clearly not like actively. I mean, they are some games. You see those games where they're missing free throws with no time left on the clock. It just seems like they beat teams that they shouldn't be beating. So I'm kind of worried just outright going against them. Both of these teams super bad defensively. The Bulls, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're still playing. So I just have a really hard time looking. I don't know, towards either teams. Do either of you guys have a strong opinion here?
Nope, junk.
Thanks. All right, we'll move on from that. Bucks, Rockets, we're not touching unless you've got something, Kurt.
I don't know. Again, the only thing I'm looking at with these big ones is wire to wire, which I'm kind of looking at in the Spurs game, which I don't mind, but Rockets are too all over the place offensively they could screw up at 12 minutes pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I like Spurs and Golden State. And you know what? I actually added them to the Levr site for for a little fun there. Denver at Jazz, another game you're not going to touch. Jazz tanking since day one. All right, so Spurs Warriors, let's look at this because I don't know, we've been talking a lot recently. This line wasn't this far when I put it up. It's moved quite a bit. But yeah, so you think Spurs had pretty handily walked through this game is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, they should have matchups everywhere, and no Porzingis tonight. None of the other guys. No Horford. They're just so hurt, and the Spurs are an awkward matchup for them in general because they're so big, and Golden State are just small as a whole. Like they have like 6 inches at like every position already. For them to be missing Porzingis and Horford, and just having no post also tonight, I'm pretty sure, like just having no big bodies against a team that's just filled with 6'8" athletes along with their 7'3" gigantic person in there. This feels like one of those ones where the Warriors put up 80 and like this is like 40-20 after a quarter.
I think you got yourself on mute there.
You could have just let me go, man. Thank you. I might throw a bag on this, like the more you get into it. For this to liquidate, their odds would have to get to negative 306. They could be losing start of the fourth quarter, and I feel like they'd be at negative 300 still.
You're probably right about that, actually.
The big NBA spreads are hard to move those lines. MLB, very different story. So we had a bunch of games today. As you guys know, I showed you my loss earlier. There are a couple games tonight. So let's look at these. All right, the first one, I kind of like this matchup because I feel like people are going to be a little more on Minnesota just due to some name recognition here. So Joe Ryan is going for Minnesota tonight. He has historically kind of dominated Kansas City, but again, he's been in the league for a while, so those early numbers aren't too relevant. For what it's worth, he is 8-1 against Kansas City with almost a 2 ERA, which is pretty silly. He had a solid first start this year, 7 batters, 7 Ks through 5.1 innings, gave up a run. We'll get into his stats from last year here in a bit. On the other side, Kansas City sending out Noah Cameron is making his first start this year. He had solid numbers last year, but again, another guy that you kind of dive into the numbers, they're not quite as good as they look on the surface. He had a really, really rough spring training here. I like Kansas City's lineup as a whole a lot better than Minnesota, but we can get into that. Just on the surface, I feel like people looking at these teams and kind of look at these pitchers going, they're just going to jump on Minnesota. Do you guys have any thoughts on this kind of before I dive into it a bit more?
I actually was telling Kurt before we started, I didn't want to touch this game. I kept looking at it. I know Joe Ryan, everybody knows the name. He's had a quality start. He had a good year last year, kind of owns Kansas City. Just, I don't know. There's something about it. I just couldn't find enough there where I was sold on taking the Twins tonight. I think, like you said, I think like Kansas City actually has a better lineup than the Twins. So if this becomes a bullpen game, I'm more worried of the Twins taking this game. So I stayed away from it. But I gave it a serious look. But I couldn't find anything.
So my notes were actually wrong on this. rookie last year actually had good stats, pretty much all around. Not much of a home run issue. He kind of did with lefties, but nothing I'm concerned about. Like WOBA against him, super low, very average strikeout rates. It doesn't seem like he doesn't get knocked. He wasn't getting knocked around much, and that's not something I really worry about with Minnesota's lineup, anyways. But yeah, I mean, just the starters here is probably what starts me to lean in KC's direction, and then Kansas City's lineup I just like a lot more. Their lefties I love, and this guy kind of had a problem with lefties last year via the long ball. Not that this park's great for lefties. The weather's not great either. I think it'll be probably pretty low scoring. I feel like Kansas City will get through on this one. This might be one that I bet straight up. Kurt, it sounds like you're kind of a pass on this game.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for the Minnesota game. I bet a little bit of Dodgers later, but
yeah, I think we're all kind of on the same end here for good reason. Dodgers are bringing out. I think this is a rubber. Yeah, I think. All right, so this is actually to decide the series. Yamamoto going for the Dodgers, who is a beast. If you follow baseball at all, you know who he is. And for Cleveland and Gavin Williams, his first start this year, he got smacked around a bit. I believe they are, what are they at right now? Like 270 favorites?
yeah, they are on FanDuel 270.
Okay. Yeah, so Dodgers, pretty decent favorites. 270 in baseball, like it's pretty legit. And it's understandable though with the Dodgers. I mean, Dodgers lineup is silly. Back-to-back World Series champions. I think it's kind of worth though to juice it a bit. I don't think I need to get into underlying stats too hard here. I'm pretty sure we all kind of agree with how this one's going to go. With your Ohtani home run bet, though, Kaz, 1.3 home runs per 9, so we got a chance here. Gavin Williams gives up to lefties, gives up solid hard contact, and as we know, Ohtani crushes everyone. And this is a solid park for left-handed batters, too. And the wind's not going to hurt you there tonight. But yeah, I don't need to get too hard into the Dodgers. I'll probably take them on 2x or 3x on leverage. Kurt, I'm assuming you just parlayed them in.
Yeah, with the Skeens thing earlier, or with the Reds to not score in the first inning. It's just that it's with Yamamoto on the mound and the Dodgers lineup should crush righties like all year long. And against the Gavin Williams, who didn't really have a great year last year, had a pretty bad start to this year already so far. Just a really awkward matchup all around.
Man, I might have to take their spread. All right, Kaz, did you have anything here?
Yeah, I was going to take. I'm going to take the Dodgers 3x tonight on Levr.
Ooh, let's play around with that.
I just think that Yamamoto's just going to. I mean, he had a pretty good start. His first start it wasn't like a Yamamoto-esque like where he dominated, but it was a good start. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we have them at 240.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. 3x. Put the 3x in there. What's my line?
Negative 105 you'd liquidate at. You're pretty much getting them at even money.
Exactly.
They
love the Dodgers in that spot. The Dodgers have a better lineup, better starter. Going with the Dodgers.
This is when I like high leverage on baseball. When you have a stud pitcher going, you're not worried about early runs from the other team.
Right.
Yeah, probably play around with that too. Although I have to look at my account again after that Toronto mess. Cool, guys. I think that's it. Everything we kind of had. I really went over the Levr stuff to start, so I don't think we need to do that again. As always, appreciate your time. Kurt, please give out your socials and what it is that you do so people can follow you if they don't already.
Yeah, at Volume Bets on Twitter, at volume.bets on Instagram. I do the $1 to $1 million challenge. That's just all sports betting, trying to turn $1 into $1 million.
Love it.
Yep.
Taz.
Wait, like tell people what's generally your bet size?
I've had like a awkward like last 2-3 months just betting sides and stuff, but my unit size is 1%, and then right now I'm betting like half a unit, third of a unit on most of my stuff, just until I kind of come out of my slump. But regular unit size is just 1% flat. It changes every night depending on what happens to the bankroll.
Yeah, so nothing. You're not doing high stakes, but you're still
It's just
$1,500 ahead.
Yeah, it's just regular unit betting, really.
Yeah, it's an incredible run.
Thank you.
Trying to get him into Levr with a fat risk-free bet.
I think it'd be better for the NFL, like genuinely for you, for me, because all my stuff slows down heavy this time of year until the NFL starts back up, and then it grows quite a bit. Then I know it's another couple months, but
Well, no, it's when everybody's betting, right?
yeah, that's right. And I might be at 2,000 then, if it's still 2,000.
There we go. All right, guys. I'm not 100%. I can't do Friday, so I'm not 100% if you guys will be doing Friday, but we will post about it if we do. Typically every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, though, at 5 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, thanks for everybody listening. Thanks for those who listen to the recording. Cheers.
See ya.
Have a good one.